name were you known in your community?
When I was growing up?
Yeah, like in young age.
Crazy name.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. When I was growing, I was given a name based on my body size.
I want to talk that in Swahili.
So people of my body size, people who have weight like mine, of course I don't even think if I have that much weight. People are just trying to traumatize me. And they call you bonge. Like, it's crazy. In my community, they give you many names. They call you bonge. Some people call you tipwa tipwa. I was introduced from Tanzania, and professionally I am a counselor. Some would call me counselor. Some would call me mental health therapist. All you're seeing is that you feel you're sad, you feel you're down, you feel you're empty. So you're measuring on that feeling. I am so empty, I'm so sad, I don't feel okay. But you're not going deep to why you feel empty. So when you come to our sessions, we just need to train you that yes, you need money, but sometimes you also need mechanisms to keep you active even when you don't have money, because you may not be having money all the time. You see. So why is mental health important? Why is this education important? You are a boss, you have your worker. They are not performing productively because there are things. There are things that.
So exactly is a day. Welcome back in your lively good one and good vibes one. This is my honest chat. This is a smart pod. This is the one and only your lovely podcast ever. Have you ever tried to dive into others' podcast? I think you are so different between ours and theirs. So. What's about trauma? What about depression? And what about being in that, of course, aspect of stigma? It's all about heartbreaking. And this is the time to dive into that aspect of mental health. My name is Ismail Papimuhinda, and of course I'm your daily host. I think so, and make sure that you hit subscribe on our YouTube channel. It's a smart pod on YouTube, and you go on our social platforms like Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and even TikTok. Just a word is Smart House Experience. We experience every single thing. Muraho neza abanyarwanda aho mwamuherereye hose, muraho neza ndi mu majyepfo majyaruguru murasazo mu burengerazuba, muraho neza niba uzi neza ko kurikirana ibiganiro byacu bya Smart Pod hano muri Honest Chat cyangwa se mu Honest Chat. Nizi twamaze gukunda ibyo dukora umunsi ku wundi. Dukora podcast nk'izi ngizi kugira ngo twige, dusobanukirwe, turarebe byinshi bitandukanye kugira ngo ubuzima bwacu bujye kuri level nziza. Ndikoresha Ikinyarwanda natanye nkoresha icyongereza kubera ko ndaza kuza kugikoresha cyane, ariko mbibutse neza icyongereza ntabwo ari ururimi rwacu. Ururimi rwacu ni Ikinyarwanda, haba icyongereza n'ubwo wenda tugerageza no kwigamo ibyo tukatuvuga tubashe communicating. Hari ijambo mugomba kwiga twebwe abanyarwanda. Umuntu akoresha urundi rurimi akaba yavuga ikosa cyangwa se yagira amakosa avuga muri urwo rurimi, ntitukamunyege cyangwa tumujore kubera ko ururimi rwacu. Icya kabiri we yateye intambwe kurukoresha, ejo nazisabira umugati ariko kumuseka ryereza kugora. Think twice. So nguhaye ikaze rero. Karibu sana. Swahili is going Swahili ngiya. So I am with my brother. Come on, make some crap. DJ. My dad Bradley is my brother from mainland Tanzania, and of course I met him through Jesus is a Gathering in 2023. Of course it's in last year, I think so, but that yeah. And of course it was in Mombasa, Kenya, and of course we shared a lot, and of course the separate things we met in media and communication thing, right? And now he's going to talk about mental health, life change. Someone can lift you somewhere else. And my dad, how are you doing, my brother?
I am fine, brother. Yeah, very fine.
I can see you.
Yeah.
Kigali is vibing.
Yeah, Kigali is treating me so well.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I love to ask this question. Is it your first time in Kigali?
No, it's my second time.
It's your second time.
Yeah.
Like, how is your experience in Kigali? Like, what really makes you feel like this where I belong to?
I think I love Kigali for many reasons, but mainly is that it's a beautiful city. Yeah. I love the way it is well structured. It is calm. So much sense of security at night. Of course, again, the people that are hosting me are very kind. So yeah, there is a different feel, a different touch when I'm around Kigali. Like I was talking to a friend and I was telling them that it doesn't really feel like this country is in East Africa. The way it's clean, the way it's beautiful. Yeah, so it's nice to see that in Africa, especially East Africa, we have such city, such a country like Rwanda, and such a city like Kigali with a different feel.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good one. And sometimes when it comes for the culture diverse, like how do you express this kind of Rwandan culture when it comes to, you know, you are a Tanzanian man, of course, let's call it, we call us, of course, family friends, we are East Coast people, we are Africans, but of course, back to the background, they are come from mainland Tanzania. And when you compare, I mean, when you see those kind of two culture diverse, how do you compare them? Like when you, someone can ask you, according to the culture of Tanzania and the culture of Rwanda, how's the difference?
Yeah, so mainly I'm not seeing a very major difference in our culture, though I know there is a difference. But we are all Africans. We have a lot of things in common. We share the same kinds of food. Yeah. We share values. The only thing I feel is that Rwanda, especially the Kigali city, is a bit Western. A bit Western. People are so much into themselves. Okay, I don't mainly feel that because the people who are hosting me have treated me like a friend, like a family. But I kind of see when I walk around streets, people are into themselves. Like it's a bit a feel of European countries or American countries.
Mind your own business.
Yeah, like people are really trying to mind their own business. That's a bit unique. It's a bit different. When you come to Tanzania, I love to say we are into each other's business. As in we're more of a communal. We have a communal lifestyle. We are not really into individualism. Yeah,
I love that. And of course, actually, we like, I can say we can love that because in Kinyarwanda we say agahugu n'umuco wako. In Rwanda it's around talk, and it's like somehow say that every country with its own culture. But for us in Rwanda, they say that we are trying to modify things. Even in Tanzania, so that since in Zanzibar, something like the East Coast somehow. But it's good. Let's try to diverse, but don't forget our own one.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's good. So we are not going to talk about the culture diverse. I'm telling you, we are just coming in mental health. But I want even to tackle that kind of, because different cultures. But you have to even to know what about that. What about that? So, Mr. Branley Madati, like,
yes,
please introduce yourself into your careers.
Well, I am Branley Madate, as introduced, from Tanzania, and professionally I am a counselor. Some would call me counselor, some would call me mental health therapist, based on how you want to name it. So I can say in things to do with my career, one, I work with Cornerstone Development Africa. Specifically in Tanzania. Cornerstone has its operation in different parts of Africa. I mean, it has its operation in East Africa. I think throughout all the countries of East Africa. Yeah. So for the past 5 years, I've been helping in that part of counseling, and of course other responsibilities that are not anyhow counseling related. But since today we are talking about counseling, I'll stick to that. But two, I lead an initiative I would call a ministry called Purpose Discovery.
Wow.
Yeah, where at our heart, our call is to help young people discover their godly purpose. And we do that through mental health, we do that through leadership empowerment, and we do that through a special program called active evangelism. So that's my call. That's what maybe I'll be doing for the rest of my life. And the third thing, I also have my own consultation firm for mental health, where people see me for if one-on-one counseling, but of course I also do trainings to individuals and organizations, mental health based. So that has been mainly my work.
And sometimes when it comes to the mental health and someone is countering, everyone can ask he or herself, say that you joined this part of mental health because you met with the same issue, or you already passed through that classes, or I know.
My story when it comes to counseling and mental health, it's very unique. It started when I was an all-level student. I don't know here in Rwanda how do you run your education system, but in Tanzania we have primary school, then we have secondary school, which we call it O-level. Then after O-level we have A-level. So
even Rwanda that we have that.
Yeah, when I was in O-level, I realized a passion for talking to people. I had that passion talking to people, mentoring. I was young, but I would have those who are younger than me coming, wanting to talk to me, wanting to be helped. So slowly I realized that I am passionate about helping other people. And I remember even when I was in O-level, some people joking and calling me counselor, and maybe at that time it didn't make sense, because in African setting, when you grow, you have your parents telling you what they want you to be. So I think my parents would see me some sort of a scientist, which was very not true. So when I was in O-level, for some first years I tried science studies, thinking I may become a scientist, some sort of a doctor. But at the time I was in senior 4, I started realizing my deep passion in counseling, and I started thinking that once I finish high school, I would love to start counseling. So yes, soon after graduating from high school, I went for a counseling course. It wasn't easy, but I went for a counseling course. Now, to answer your question, I just made a decision to start counseling because it was a passion. I was so passionate, deep in my heart. I had no reason why I was passionate, but I was so passionate about counseling. Now, later after studying counseling is when I realized that even me as an individual, I've gone through traumas, I've gone through depression, but because I was not a professional counselor, many years ago, I couldn't know that this is depression, this is trauma. So when I now became a counselor, I was able to now tell that problem I faced was trauma, that was anxiety, that was maybe a mood disorder, depression, something like that. Yeah. So it was just an inspiration from within. I never had someone I never even saw a counselor before. I just had an inspiration from within, and after time is when I started seeing other people, also counselors. I started getting mentors, but it was an inspiration from within. It was a passion I had to talk to people, help, nurture, and yeah.
Luckily, actually, I love this kind of. When you see a young man, when you see our generation is trying to bring something where we used to say that's for the old people, when smokers is for old people, and he sees that he's still young, he's still a young man, but trying to do that kind of the old people as we've seen. So, but please, Mada, can you take us into this kind of mental health beliefs and myths?
Sure. Now, before I take you guys into mental health, you just mentioned one interesting thing, and I want to add something on that point. I have I interestingly have a mentor who is younger than me, very, very interesting. And one of the things I learned from that young man, is called Dr. Arnold Van. He's a doctor. He has a PhD. He said he discovered a secret, and that secret is he decided to live a life of an old man when he's young.
Wow.
He decided to live a life of an old man when he's young. So I deeply understand that the things to do with mental health, to do with counseling, to do with leadership, they seem to be things of old people, but old people are going. So where are the young people who will fill that gap when the old people are gone? So I think if you ask me, I'm training myself to live the life of an old man. You know, old men, they, okay, not 100%, but old men, they try to be focused. They feel they have no time to waste. They feel like they have goals to hit, things to accomplish. So they are not found everywhere. They are not found everywhere. They are really trying to give their time to things that matter. So I'm not saying this to brag or to be like to show that I'm proud. I'm just saying it to encourage another young man. You know, when we're young men, we kind of think like, yeah, I think I have all the time. I have all the time. I will just move around the girls. I will just drink all sorts of alcohol, and I will just
to maximize my time.
To maximize my time. But when you believe you're an old man, you will start feeling that time is not on your side. So, you know, when I think of the vision I have for God, the vision I have for the people that are around me, I'm like, I don't have time. So let me maximize every second, every minute I have. So that was just,
sure, the comment on that. I love it. So we take us there. Take us into that kind of points, you know.
Sure. So with mental health, people say many things. People say many things. Some young man in a school misbehaves and they want to be punished, and they're like, my mental health matters. Don't touch me. Don't. And every you're at work, you are not performing well, and your boss confronts you, like, my mental health matters. It's true that mental health matters. I'm not trying to undermine that, but I think I am here to help people understand what mental health is, and I want to read this.
Sure.
I love to read it so that I say it exactly.
Yeah.
Mental health is the capacity of each and all of us to feel, think, and act.
There is a feel,
think, and act.
And act.
Yes. In ways that enhance our ability to enjoy life, meaningful, and confidently deal with the challenges we face. So mainly when we speak about mental health, we speak about that capacity in us to feel, think, and act in rightful manner. And when we are able to feel, to think, and act in rightful manner, we are able to be productive. We are able to face daily challenges. You see, so why nowadays we have a lot of promotions and things to do with mental health. Why are they there? Like, why are people trying to push this idea? We're trying to push this idea because we live in a generation that we are exposed to a lot of toxic. So for example, some time back, maybe last year, I was talking to another mentor of mine, and I was telling him that we truly cannot use the old methods to solve the Gen Z problems. For example, one of the things I've been dealing with as a counselor, especially a counselor who deals with young people, is things to do with sexual addiction. You know, our parents, maybe in the years they were facing sexual addictions, but not to the levels where we are right now. Why? I don't think if in 1950s there was an exposure to things like pornography as there is right now. You see, so nowadays we have a lot of promotion, and we're trying to push this awareness of mental health, because the available technology is a blessing, but in many ways it has pushed us to challenges. So like, you cannot just blame. And I was telling this mentor of mine that when you teach purity to young people, you know, this is an honest chat.
Of course.
When you teach purity to young people, You cannot just tell them, you're stupid, why are you failing to be pure? Why are you failing to abstain from sex? You cannot use your old notes to help the current problems.
Exactly.
Those years there was no Instagram. Sometimes I'm on Instagram with my clean mind. I just want to open Instagram and watch something nice, and a sexual ad pops up, and you're like, should I?
And yet sometimes, of course, every single Google ads is like that. There's sex ads.
Exactly.
When it's apparent, she's allowed to say,
So to help whoever watches this understand, when you speak about mental health, is the capacity of each and all of us to feel, think and act in a way that enhance our ability to live meaningful lives and solve challenges. So that's mental health. Now within mental health, we have the psychological perspective. In my work, I'm doing it a bit different. I love to merge the psychological and the spiritual perspective. So we have the psychological perspective, and I can take people through that briefly. For example, in psychological perspective, there are key things, which are 4 things in my work I've always loved to look at. We have the emotional well-being, we have the psychological well-being, the social well-being, and behavioral health. Now, for example, when it comes to emotional well-being, in mental health, we are basically trying to train people to learn how to manage their emotions.
Yes.
Emotions like happiness, sadness, anger, anxiety in a health manner. For example, I was offering the same training. Someone, they said, some people are too happy. Too happy.
Yes, so
and you think it's okay, but some people are too happy and it's a problem. For example, I made this comment somewhere. You love a girl and she's telling you, no, I don't want to, and she tells you when she's laughing, yeah, I don't want to. Like you know, someone is, they all smile and just. So even when they are giving sad news, they don't know how to manage the emotions when they're giving sad news.
No, I don't want to.
Imagine being a boss and your employee comes and say, hey, I've lost my dad, and like, hey, you've lost your dad. It may seem as I'm exaggerating, but there are those people who they don't know even how to manage the emotions. I've encountered them. Like, they receive bad news, but they don't know how to manage the emotions. So they don't know how to express themselves when they receive bad news.
Some people also use that as like, no, I know how to manage myself, I know to control, my emotions. And the brain was like, no, it's okay. That's how life is.
No.
Move on. We are learning.
We are learning, of course.
Some people like me.
Yeah.
You can do something and okay, it's okay. We are dying.
You see? So someone comes and tell you a very painful story, and you take it normal. But now we as counselors, we help people learn. Some other people are just sad. They don't have high moments. They don't have joyful moments. And again, if you go to deep studies of trauma, you may realize they were traumatized at some point. And when you're traumatized, one of the things you face is you expect bad things to happen. So you find no reason to be joyful. Why would I be joyful while I have a traumatized past? So you stay on your past. Now there are things like psychological well-being. This includes personal growth, self-acceptance. As we go on at some point to talk about social media, one of the things I have encountered, especially with young people and sometimes maybe ladies, there's an issue of self-acceptance. You see someone trying to change the way they look. Someone trying to, yes, I tell guys I have no problem with makeup, but like I have problem with someone who finds confidence in makeup. Like they make up and they make up and they make up their makeup.
They make up.
You see it? So mine, as I deal with young people, is to help them redefine their identity. That's why I say I love to merge spirituality and psychology. It's to help them know how God created them. It's to help them know that they matter before God. It's to help them know that there is something better than what they're seeing. At some point I was training someone and I told them, there are things which are within our control. For example, I am short. I am short. Since I'm sitting, the one who is watching this may not see, but if I stand, they will realize that I'm short. And sincerely speaking, there is nothing I can do about my height. But I also have a big body size. There is something I can do about my weight. I can exercise, I can eat some kinds of food and reduce. You see, but I cannot change my height. So if I don't have enough self-acceptance, I may start ordering high heels for men because I want to be tall.
Like James,
I want to be like someone. You see.
Yeah.
Then there's something called social well-being, the ability to develop and maintain healthy relationships, adapt to social situations, and feel connected to the community. You know, again, when it comes to psychology, there are these things to do with personality. There are people who are introverted. There are people who are extroverted. Now, in mental health, our assignment is to help them have a balanced life.
Not be extroverted.
For example, personally, I am extroverted. I am a sanguine. But again, I've been making this joke that I am extroverted. I'm a sanguine, but I'm a counselor. One of the things with people who are extroverted and they're sanguines, they speak a lot and they sometimes can't keep secrets. But when you're a counselor, people tell you a lot of garbage. Sometimes it's really garbage because sometimes they are hard stuffs to hear. But I trained myself that yes, you know, you can be in a place and you may think I never talk. You may think I never talk. Because I can just choose to keep quiet and listen. It's a training. I mean, I'm used to talking. I love to talk. But like I've trained myself that no, Brandy, now you can keep quiet and let other people. So like in mental health.
Like first time we met, of course, in
Mombasa, yeah.
Being honest, was like quiet guy.
I was very quiet on my camera.
On your camera, media, trying to post, telling me, man, Isma, please let's go and post something. Like I was like, oh, this name is. I told you. I was very surprised to see you sharing things
about mental health.
Mental health. Yet we were in the same field of media stuff like that. I was like, people can people can lash.
So you see, to help whoever is following our podcast understand. So apart from mental health, I work in a media department at Cornerstone up to this moment. So in most cases, if you are around Cornerstone events, you may not see me speaking. You will see me on my camera. And when you're on your camera, you don't talk. The people behind our cameras right now, they're just smiling. They're not talking. So when you find me on my camera, you may think I'm the quietest guy because who should I talk with? I'm just there recording or taking pictures.
That's true.
Yeah, but like getting back to the mental health conversation, we want to help people to learn how to again interact with other people. For example, again, listen to there's someone I'm coaching or I'm mentoring, and she's very generous. And of recent I was training her. I was telling her you must learn how to handle your generosity because people can manipulate you. You may be giving thinking you're pleasing God, but you're giving because you're manipulated. Like, so I was trying to help her know how to say no. I give. I am a giver. I love to give. But
and yesterday, 2 days ago, there's a good hashtag in this house. One of my brothers hosts the one kind of show, and they created like a hashtag called "No is no." No is no, right? They say no is no.
Yeah, no is no.
No is no hashtag. Cause like for us people, there's some people who don't know to say no. Like, who can't really understand the meaning of saying no. Or when you ask something which is not like related for them, they say like, I will work on it. Yet it's still a big issue for you.
Exactly.
Learn to say no.
Yeah. So we do that. As in, there are people who are called people pleasers. I being an extrovert, there's a time we find energy in being close with people. When you come to my house, you'll always find people. But like, in the long run, I had to learn. You know, some years ago, someone would be going, let's say, since I know Ramagana, going to Ramagana, and my house is on the way, and they would just stop and knock and say, "Hey, I'm here. I want to say hi." That seems nice, but at some point I realized it's not always nice. That you are going to Ramagan, and since my house is on the way, you can just stop and not say, "Hey, I'm here to say hi." And sometimes I'm not in a position to be there for you. Like right now, I have a very weird discipline. If you're coming to my place, just let me know in advance. Of course. Don't just land there and knock. I may tell you I'm not available.
I need to be prepared.
Yeah, I need to be prepared. You see, so like in mental health, we are teaching people to live meaningful, learn when to say yes, learn when to say no, so that you have an appropriate social interaction, so that you don't feel like you're giving a lot and there is no return. So have time for yourself. It's not a sin. You know, when you deal with people, it's for example, I was talking to a friend yesterday and I say, this time when I'm in Kigali, I'm really trying not to be available. I don't work with my phone every time. Why? I am a person who is into helping people a lot. So based on the mental health studies and findings, this is more of time for myself, as in reflect, have energy, because the moment I get back to Tanzania, I will have a list of people to help. So I need time for myself.
Exactly.
Yeah, but again, in mental health, we have what is called behavioral health, which involves healthier behaviors and coping mechanisms. Yeah, like we have challenges and stresses, even spiritually, based on different faith we have like the scriptures say, this what you face troubles and you should have hope in God. So like in mental health, again, we train people to build resilience. We train people to when there are challenges, how do you cope with challenges? We had COVID in 2019, 2020, if I remember, 2020. Yeah, that's one of the times that our work was very varied. I remember in 2020, was it 2020 or 2021, when COVID was a bit getting 2021. I spent time in a deep village in Uganda in Kampala called Nakasonga. For a month we were helping the community to cope, because COVID changed every narrative. So our work was just to help them to know that life can go on. So as counselors in mental health, we just help people to know how to adjust, to know how to cope with the current situation, to find new ways, to find new strategies, so that they don't end up killing themselves.
Exactly. Actually, you're still in your good line, and I want you to talk on these things because about on the time. There's this stuff sometimes we misunderstanding the word trauma, anxiety, depression, and sometimes mood disorder. Please, can you come on that? Like, we really want to know that, because some people, we wake up in the morning and say, I am depressed. Are you sure? Or it's a mood disorder because maybe last night wasn't good, or maybe you had the kind of bad sleep. So you know, can you talk on that one? Yeah.
So I think I'll speak about depression, trauma, and anxiety, just briefly.
Sure.
Of course, I'm sure you'll be able to share my contacts if someone wants us to go deeper with this conversation.
Exactly.
That's my work.
Exactly.
I'm available. So, for example, let me give you guys a bit to do with trauma. Trauma is an area that I've loved to deal with for a couple of years now. And I always define it in a very interesting way. I call it a deep, disturbing experience. Now, if we were to use our local languages, it would make I kind of feel it would make more sense, because I don't know, maybe I've been dealing with Tanzanians a lot, you've been dealing with people from Rwanda a lot. But now let me explain. Within trauma, so trauma is in a category of what we call trauma and stress related disorder. And this is how I love to put it. When we speak about trauma, when you say I have trauma, we speak about that event that happened and it left you deeply disturbed, deeply stressed. Yes. It is an event that occurred and it left you deeply stressed, deeply disturbed. You'll watch an action movie, you'll see this soldier's gone for a mission, and it was very stressing. It was hard. I mean, life was in prison. People were dying every second. And you see this person, when they go back at home every night, they dream what was happening. That's one of the symptoms that the experience they had, whatever they experienced, it is deeply disturbing, deeply stressing. Now, when this thing isn't treated at a specific time, it grows to something called post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, post-traumatic.
Like extra, it's like becoming to extra.
It's post-traumatic. Why do we call it post-traumatic? We call it post-traumatic stress disorder because you witnessed an accident in 2010. When you witnessed an accident, it disturbed you, it stressed you. It was not beautiful to watch people die before your eyes. 10 years down the road, you were not helped. So because you were not helped, there is a way you are now behaving just because there is a memory that is unresolved in your mind. So again, I've been saying, I wish I would have come with my illustration. You find someone was sexually abused at the age of 10. Then at the age of 20, witnessed an accident. Then at the age of 25, maybe was abused again by the boyfriend. When at the age of 26, there was a conflict at work. So you are seeing a beautiful lady smiling, but inside them they have a garbage. Inside them they have a lot of unresolved memory and pain. We call it post-traumatic stress disorder because an event happened, and when it happened, it was not resolved. I'll give you an example. I've been dealing with sexual abuse cases. It's interesting. I mean, I don't know even if interesting is a good word to use. For example, if a girl was sexually abused by a man, and this man was had applied a spray, a body spray called Nivea. Psychologically, there's a way that
that spray,
the smell of that spray, it sticks in their mind. So 10 years down the road, she gets married to a man who uses the same spray. It affects them because every time they feel that smell of the spray, they remember when they were abused. Trust me, they remember how they were abused. So like that's an area I've always loved to help people because you know I'm also dealing with a lot of church activities, and I've wanted to help people that not everything is spiritual. That's not a demon. It's simply that this guy who abused her sexually had an Nivea spray. She's married to a man who is using the same spray, and she feels no, I don't want you.
No, exactly.
Simply because that spray reminds, and you know what's mine? I've personally faced this. I wasn't really sexually abused, but there was a level of abuse that happened. Very interesting. To someone that I was close. I was almost abused, and she was using this particular spray. Then I'm now a grown-up man. I meet this girl. She's nice, but amongst many things, she's using the same spray of the lady that I was close to. So every time I'm with this girl, I'm like, no. She's using the same spray, so that spray communicates the trauma, which is, so it's until that trauma is healed, is when I can start feeling that this spray is okay. I'll give you a last example. You witness your mom dying, you see, and when you witness your mom dying, it gets hard for you to speak about it. But if you visit someone's house and they tell you, hey, see, this is the picture of my mom, this is when she was doing this, you should know now they have healed. That's why they can easily talk about their mother. But if they have not healed, they wouldn't want it. One of the key symptoms for trauma, there are many, but one of it is people wouldn't love to go back to that conversation. Because when you go back to that conversation, you trigger. So like, time isn't enough to speak deeply about trauma, but like, especially in African context, we live in a very traumatic life. We have had traumatic past. I mean, parents have been beating their kids in ways that are very horrible. Young girls have been heavily sexually abused. We have witnessed people being killed. We have witnessed civil wars. So like all these things, they keep a garbage in your mind. And again, remember, we said mental health is all about how you feel, how you think, how you act. We want you to feel well, think well, act well. How are you going to feel well, think well, and act well while you are working with trauma?
Exactly.
So I'm quite sure someone can reach out with my contacts, and I can offer more trainings on this to help them know how to navigate. But they are real things and they need help. Now I will touch on one more area before we move further. There is what is called depression. With depression, again, as I said first, I really want to read this because I know if I read it, someone will be helped. Like with depression, there are this feeling of the persisting feeling of sadness, the persisting feeling of emptiness, the persisting feeling of like life is miserable and I am not going to have anything good around me. And again, as you said something very interesting, that sometimes a person may wake up and they say, I feel depressed. And professionally, they may be using the rightful word to explain the wrong situation. Sometimes it's not really that they're depressed. It's just that I'm not just in a good mood. I'm not just feeling well. But like when we speak about depression, we speak about a persisting feeling of sadness. Like I've been depressed. I can confess that I've ever been depressed, so I know what it means to be depressed. You wake up.
Even some people they try to make like anxiety and depression like the same thing. So you feel like anxiety
and you think you're depressed.
You're depressed.
Anxiety is a different thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. So like you wake up, you feel you are down, you are empty, you are sad, and it goes over and over a long period of time. Now again, when you come to us counselors, we just help you. We sit with you down and we'll try to analyze the patterns of your life. Our work as counselors is to help you know why are you depressed. For example, I was training someone and I told them sometimes one of the reasons people can be depressed, young people, even old people, is you're financially broken. So all you're seeing is that you feel you're sad, you feel you're down, you feel you're empty. So you're measuring on that feeling. I am so empty, I'm so sad, I don't feel okay. But you're not going deep to why do you feel empty. So when you come to our sessions, we just need to train you that yes, you need money, but sometimes you also need mechanisms to keep you active even when you don't have money, because you may not be having money all the time. You see. So why is mental health important? Why is this education important? You're a boss, you have your worker, they are not performing productively because there are things. There are things that they are hidden and themselves they don't know. So our work as counselors is to help bring. That's why amongst many definitions of counseling, I love this. There is this which says counseling is an art where a counselor helps a client to realize what bothers them and be able to solve. So we counselors, we don't solve clients' problem. We co-work with clients and we help them solve their problem.
If she or he wants, he don't want, you can.
Yes, you cannot force them to solve the problem. I'll give you a last example of depression. For example, nowadays, I don't know the case in Rwanda, but in Tanzania, I've observed that every weekend there's a new wedding. Every weekend there's a new wedding. Every weekend there's an engagement. Every weekend. I'm like, where am I? What's wrong? Now, see, one of the challenges I've encountered, young people enter marriage without being well informed. So someone enters marriage with someone enters marriage with a very exaggerated opinion that I'm going to live the best life. I'm going to spend my life with the guy I love the most. And man, you enter marriage. I'm not yet married, but at least I've been involved in solving some of these cases. And they challenge me to learn and to pray that I don't mess up. So you enter marriage with a very exaggerated opinion. And you realize the goosebump period expires. You know, there's that period where you feel like, I like this guy. You know, I'm so excited. The honeymoon session goes off and the real life comes where you're reminded, hey, as you come back home please remember to come with pampers. Please, we are running out of gas. Please, there's no power today. And just simply because you are not prepared for that, you get into a moment of sadness, emptiness, and heart pain. Now, if you're not helped by a counselor, you start thinking, maybe I married a wrong woman. Kumbe, you never married a wrong woman. It's just that you were not well informed about what marriage is. You had an exaggerated opinion of marriage, and now you're married, and things are not unfolding, and you're like, life is miracle. It's not. So when you go like to a marriage, the people that have mentored me for years, one of them has a master's degree in marriage and family relationships. So they just help you to know, okay, you are married, and I don't think there's a problem with your partner. So together you will help each other to navigate how is your lifestyle, what are the challenges, and eventually you put the strategies to help you clear your bills, strategies to know how you're going to manage your finances, and to see how you rise again into feeling, thinking, and acting in the ways that So briefly, I think I can say that about depression, but again, it's a long and a deep topic.
I know that, and I really enjoyed this kind of session because, like, honestly speaking, it's for everyone. It's for everyone, not Gen Z, not everyone people. It's for everyone. I know this kind of podcast. I know 20 years coming, someone will also learn from this. So please, if you still with us, make sure that you hit subscribe if you didn't do that. But if you did that, I appreciate that, and make like, share, and comment. Go on platforms else like Instagram and Twitter, LinkedIn, even TikTok. It's Smart House Experience. Please, I'm still with Ibrahim Madati, but we are trying to get on the last minute of this conversation, a good one. But we can't go without just scattering on one of the major issues we as Gen Z we are meeting up, especially when it comes to the digital era. Let's come up with this kind of social media handling issues. Sometimes it's not from things. Things can come with cause like copying life. It can lead us to the pleasure, something like that. So please, what is bad effects and something like that, and the good effects throughout this kind of let me get in the mental health way.
Wow. Before I forget, I want to encourage you, whoever is watching this podcast, to look for a documentary called The Social Dilemma.
The Social Dilemma.
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix, and
it's beautiful. It speaks about
brings and things.
About it reveals the deep secrets of the social media. Like we're just using Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and we don't know what is behind these things, and sometimes how they have effect on our lives. So I want to share some interesting facts here briefly as we are getting to an end of our podcast, and I'm quite sure that this is going to help someone. This is really going to help someone who is listening.
Did you miss me? It's like, no, I didn't miss him, but that way it's just,
Yeah. So if you ask me, there is nothing wrong with social media platforms, social media engagements, but I want to share the positivity and the negativity of social media in relation to mental health, to help us know how to navigate this.
Exactly.
For example, with the positive effects of social media, there are things like maintaining social bonds, just to help you stay up to date with the family or friends and the globe. I have taken 3 years since I came to Rwanda. I came to Rwanda in 2021, then I'm here again 2024. But I've always felt that I'm part of the community in Rwanda, the friends in Rwanda. We chat via Instagram, we chat via WhatsApp. I see the WhatsApp status, they see mine. Trust me, that's a positive thing.
Exactly.
Another positive thing is basically connecting with new friends. There's that opportunity where someone may just recommend, hey, I know this person, and you just reach them out on WhatsApp. Follow their Instagram page, you learn something, so you connect with new people. Then there is access to constant support. where like many years ago you would need to sit down with Ismail and or call him and talk and ask him questions.
Yeah.
But right now you can go on Facebook and ask people, hey, I want this, where can I get it?
Yes.
That's a positive thing. So
that's true.
we cannot say that everything about social media is bad. But again, we are learning to develop communication skills in one way or the other, because we're in a digital era. It's one of the 21st essential skills that how can we engage ourselves in the social media, in a digital life. Now, why is it a challenge? Social media is only a challenge because we have failed to learn how to handle these things. I was listening to an old man yesterday. He was saying something about money, and he said you should control money. Money shouldn't control you.
Exactly.
And it's the same thing with social media.
Yeah.
I've been talking to people, and like someone wakes up in the morning. When they wake up, they take a selfie and they're like, just waking up, and they post it. After that, they go to have a breakfast. Having my delicious breakfast, they post it.
Yeah.
After that, they've gone somewhere chilling with my baby, they post it. You see? So it becomes a challenge because people are failed to control. But again, if you watch the Social Dilemma documentary, you realize there are a couple of algorithms that are put into play to make people spend more time and even get addicted to social media. That's why, for example, I will tell you, it's very funny that like on my side, what I do, for example, I installed Instagram when I was coming to Rwanda.
You removed it?
Like I put it back on my phone because it wasn't there. I always uninstall it, sincerely speaking. Why? I love Instagram, and sometimes when I'm idle, I'm like, let me see what is happening, and let me see what is happening. It can take you 4 hours.
Just sing it.
Yeah, like one step it takes you to another step and another step and another step.
Yeah.
So someone tells me, is like, so you want to tell me you don't have self-control? I say, this is the way I control myself. I uninstall it when I don't need it. And when I need it, I install it. It doesn't take a lot of MBs. So that's the way I'm learning to manage myself, because sometimes I get excited and I'm just there, I'm like scrolling and it takes hours. And you know, with these phones we have, they give you analysis of the hours you spend on your screen a week. And every time I uninstall Instagram, I realize I become more productive. So like, I know like right now in Rwanda, I'm more in a vacation. I am, of course, not a vacation, I came for a program, but
of course you're even vacation.
Yeah, but it's also a vacation. I'm relaxed. It's not like I'm in a busy schedule. So I'm also on Instagram, just trying to see what happens. But now see the negative impact of social media, which can really affect young people. One, there's what's called social comparison, and within social comparison, there is fear of missing out, which is not a new term. FOMO, it's called FOMO. Like people feel they don't want to miss out what's happening, and they want to compare. I mentioned about in my country, seeing young people getting married every day, and sometimes people they get married every weekend because they see like everyone is getting married, and then
my brother who is like getting married soon, so where am I? And even sometimes parents come for there. Say like, you have saw the other little boy that was grown up together. She already made it. Where are you?
Where are you? Where are you, Banang? You see, so someone feels like that has happened. I also need. So people post a lot. People show their lifestyle, and because of the fear of missing out, you also get to do that. You see, you also get to do that because you just feel someone is doing it, and why am I not doing it? Then is what is called the body image. Young people may compare themselves to celebrities. Yeah, that's the truth. Like you can see, Rihanna is wearing a fashion clothes. She's being paid, and you got from Tanzania or Rwanda. You want to do this? You just want to be. And Rihanna, being honest, when she's in real life, she's a very clean and good girl. Exactly. You see, they compare. Compare themselves to celebrities, influencers, or people they admire. And listen to this carefully. They develop an health obsession with appearance that can significantly impact their self-esteem. So like, for example, I truly want to advocate for physical wellness. It's okay to exercise and be healthier. But I don't love when it gets to extreme lines where you just want to have a body like a particular celeb. So you are investing not because not because you want to be healthier. You're investing because you want to be. So it's bad, because I know for the fact I know some of the celebs who are even injecting themselves to appear in a particular way. Because you just saw on social media how some other person appears, you love Diamond's shape, and you are trying to make yourself be like Diamond. And at the end of the day, it destroys your self-esteem because you're not content with who you are and what you are. Again, when it comes to ladies, humbly and respectful speaking, young ladies, I'm saying with confidence because I've been helping them. They think of, I saw this looking like this, I saw this shape and this shape. So you are pushing yourself, you're pushing yourself to have unreal shape just because you saw it on social media. You see, and it's crazy. It's crazy. For example, if you take a picture and you edit it a bit, you'll have more likes than if you take a picture and share your natural face. This is me. This is with my personal face. You may have less likes than when you share a fake version of you. A photoshopped a photoshopped version of you. You see? So the body image is another challenge. But again,
let alone you meet with that girl, that boy, you say like, bro, is it you?
Is it you? You're not the one I saw.
Is it you?
Then there is what is called the sleep patterns, where great social media usage has been linked to poor sleep quality, which is in turn linked to low self-esteem, anxiety, and depression.
Okay.
It's very true that you are having your free evening. It was 8-9 p.m. you're supposed to go to bed, and you're supposed to wake up early in the morning at 5 a.m. and you're like, oh yeah, let me just see what is happening on LinkedIn. At least LinkedIn is healthier because it's more of a corporate professional thing. Let me see what is happening on Facebook and TikTok. I don't like TikTok. I'm not on. I have an account, but it's not on my phone. It's not on my phone. So you see, you spend time. This is very real. You realize it's past midnight and you're just there, scrolling, posting, getting likes. And some people, they even post and they stay to see how many likes they're getting, how many likes are growing. And at the end of the day, you find yourself, you slept at 2 a.m. You wake up at 5 a.m. You slept for 3 hours, and productively you slept for 3 hours. You wake up, you go to work unproductively. You become unproductive at your area of work simply because of social media. It is affecting you. You're getting depressed. You're getting anxiety. Why? You're like, it's 5. I have to wake up, and you're not ready to wake up because you didn't sleep enough. So that's another challenge that I want to really ask young people to watch out.
So,
and two more. Self-harm and suicidal ideations. I've dealt with this. Although social media can be great for support seeking, certain content can have a negative influence. Normalizing self-harm and exposing young people to explicit image and videos. With access to online forums discussing self-harm and suicide, young people may be encouraged to engage in such behavior. Like, there's a lot of exposure to unhealthier content, you see. And there's a trend that someone didn't feel good and they killed themselves. And when we are so much exposed to this kind of information, we find ourselves that we are used. Allow me quote something from the scriptures. Allow me quote something from the scriptures, because I believe part of the people that are listening to our podcast, they believe in God.
Sure.
There's a verse in the Bible. It's from the book of Romans chapter 12 verse 1. It says, do not be conformed to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. So, Ismail, you are what you watch. You are what you listen. So some of the decision young people do is because of where they spend most of their time. You spend most of your time on Instagram where you see that people commit suicide, and when they were depressed, they committed. It's valid that they were depressed, but maybe committing suicide wasn't the rightful thing. So because of these things that we are scrolling and seeing and watching most of the time, they are feeding our minds.
And the suppressed things and kind of not good things about this kind of social media algorithms, when you likely watch something on Instagram algorithm always recommend you the same things.
Exactly.
When you watch those kind of new things or pictures, everything on there, that's some recommendations.
But again, I love what you've said. For example, I have followed a couple of pages on Instagram which are trying to help people overcome pornography addictions, pornography and masturbation addiction. And one of the things I've realized is that, you see, because of such exposures of things like social media, easy access to explicit image, some people have gotten themselves to what I said in the first place, to these addictions, like addictions to masturbation and pornography. And you know, let me tell you one thing. This may be a by the way, but it will help someone. Put away the spiritual factors. In the long run, you won't be a confident father when you know you are a father but you're still watching pornography. Exactly. You are a father and you're still masturbating. And it was just an exposure to these explicit images through the social media. So before,
sometimes you say edited.
You see, before you get to extreme lines, in a long run, you won't love it that you are a father and you can't control yourself. You have a wife, you have children, but you have to hide yourself and watch pornography. You have to hide yourself and masturbate. But it's all because you were exposed to this. Now, being exposed is one thing, but we are here giving this awareness so that you seek help. There are a lot of resources, there are a lot of supported groups to help people who were once addicted by social media, then they got addicted to pornography, then they got addicted to sexual addictions. But like, this information is to help you know, like, no, I have, for example, me I tell people, it's crazy, and I'm always open to share. In almost all my devices, I have put these blockers, porn blockers. Why? There's a time you don't want to watch anything pornographic. But as we are saying, you were just on Instagram and an ad pops. So for me to be safe, because I'm not an angel, I've put these blockers to make sure I don't have these ads coming. Just because sometimes you really want to access an information on social media and you find yourself. Yeah. Now the last thing, there's what is called cyberbullying. Young people may enact to fall victim to the bullying behavior. This is really happening. I've faced those cases. There's a movie I listened to, watched, I recommend it. It's on YouTube. Actually, I've been telling people it's fun that there are great movies on YouTube and they're for free. It's called Holy Scam, of this lady. Actually, she was an old lady who was desperate about marriage, and some scammer just landed on her contact, looked for her, and he was like, I am from Nigeria, I live a very broken life, can you help me? And they became close, and this lady was generous, and later this guy started telling the lady, I love you, and the lady had lost her husband. They were in love, and later he realized that this guy, the scammer, wanted to get money from him. So like, all after saying this, I wanna conclude this part of social media by saying, social media can be a blessing or a curse based on how you use it. So what young people need to be helped is to learn to control the social media, not letting the social media control them. It has an effect on your mental health. Why are you posting? Before posting, I want to challenge young people. Take time. There is a doctor in our country, a very interesting doctor. It's called Dr. Janabi. He teaches people about healthier diet. And he says, if you have a thirst to drink Coca-Cola, take 30 minutes to think about it. And in those 30 minutes, take an apple and just have an apple. Get that apple as you're thinking of Coca-Cola and see if you still want to use Coca-Cola or you'll be satisfied. I love what he said. So again, I've learned this. Honestly, I've learned it has worked on my side. Before I post, I want to think, why do I want to post? But two, you people who know technology will tell me better. I deeply do not believe if the things we post, even if we delete, if they are permanently deleted, I always believe they are stored somewhere.
Being honest, that's what you call algorithm. You delete it on your feed.
Exactly.
But Instagram has the store.
You see. So sometimes, again, I want to ask young people, the things you post, are you going to be happy in many years to come that I was posting this? You see. And again, the thing of social media and posting and everything, it is taking us to vulnerability, which is not important. That you want to get validation. I'm posting and I want to see if they will respond. So if they won't respond, they don't like me. If you watch the documentary Social Dilemma, you will see how they play with all these algorithms to make you spend more time on social media, to make you spend more money. You see, like to buy more bundles. You are already financially broken and you're trying to buy more bundles. You continue being depressed because you are just wasting your time. So conclusively, let's learn healthier social media habits. One of it, I'm encouraging people. Personally, I have learned to uninstall the devices. To uninstall the apps on my devices. Two, I have learned to put things like anti-porn blockers because we are so much exposed to explicit information which is not healthier. And three, I've learned to stay far from my phone. Like literally far from my phone. I may take a day. I'm saying for the next 6 hours, I'll be off. It may not be good based on the roles you have, but I always look at how is it and what do I want to do. I'm like, no. Let me stay far from this phone and just focus. You know, I've experienced it, the moment you may use your phone to the extent that you even have a headache, just because you have been scrolling. So it's not healthy.
Oh yeah, come on. I know, like behind the camera, you can be surprised that it's Eric in this. He's just there noting something, and basically he's bringing
giving us support.
Yes, he's bringing something which is, I don't know, which is extra. Eric, I hope you have to be ready for him. And Mr. Bradley surely brought its all. Like, I mean, we got it, like a package is now full.
Thank you.
But of course we can't go without just going into our second part, but to be part 2 of the show, because I think part 1 is now good. We are now okay with this. Let's bring the part 2. You have to be ready for the part 2. Part 2 is talk about of course it's a honest speak on his social life. He is a social life, like his honest chat. This was like a global honest chat, and then a professional honest chat. Let's dive into his
my personal life.
Okay, exactly. So in a very humbly talk, I want to appreciate you for this kind of talk.
Thank you, bro. Thank
brother,
you.
You are so amazing, and I wish God keep like blessing your journey, blessing your in the spiritual way, in physical way, in mental way, and even in social ways. Because I know it's for dimension, you know that, so we need to be packed on that for dimensions of life. So this is still, of course, your honest chat. It's my honest chat too. This is honest chat too. Smart Body is on the YouTube. Go. I mean, you did already. And thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting. Manandi thought that for us we need some comments.
Yeah, of course. Because you want to grow your work.
Exactly. So because your comments will really bring us into the next topics we can talk about. So if you have another topic you really want to be shared in this podcast, please share in here in the comments. Then we'll have time to discuss if you can it can be one of our next topics. So my name is Ismail Mohinda. I'm with of course my team. Thank you so much, brother Ferik, DJ Jeremy. Thank you so much, Christia. Thank you so much, our director of today, Christia Rick. And my team, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Man, I hope to see you soon. Apart from Rwanda, we're back in mainland, so we share a lot.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Simply, give us like 2 takeaways of life. 2. I didn't want to say 1 because 1 is true. 2. Then.
Okay. Now, let me read something for my people here. I know Ismail is a good man, and he's trying to promote values.
Exactly, bro.
Now, I wanna share this which beats my understanding every time. Again, I'll quote scriptures.
Sure.
Life is very spiritual.
I get it.
Psalms chapter 9 verse 12. Teach us to realize the brevity of life, so that we may grow in wisdom. Sometimes young people, we spend time in things that do not matter because we think we have time. We think we have time. But if there's a prayer I have for myself, for every person watching, young or old, it's that may we be helped by God to understand the brevity of life, to understand how short life is, so that we may gain wisdom, so that we will spend time in things that matter, so that we may be young and we may decide to live a life of an old man, because old men, they want to focus, they want to achieve it, they don't have time to waste. So if I have two things to say to any young or old person watching it, this life is very short. Maximize every minute you have to make sure you're adding value to your maker, you're adding value to people around you. That's one I would say. Okay. And again, too, it's an encouragement to the people watching this. It's an encouragement to the people watching this. I know there are a lot of things we hear, we learn, and we are, in most cases, thinking about earning a lot. I believe in earning, I believe in money. All this here is money.
Exactly.
The podcast, microphones, this wonderful studio is money. But I think money is a reward after solving someone's problem. So what problem are you solving?
Money
Is a reward after solving someone's problem. What problem are you solving? So me as an individual, I mainly believe in being a blessing in people's life. I mainly believe in living a significant life. And I know that money will come. Yes, I deeply believe they are technicalities, they are financial teachings. But again, we are in a generation where everything you call young people to do, they'll ask you first, how much are you paying me? How much are you paying me? They are not much into first adding value. Before Ismail called me for this podcast, he saw me somewhere adding value in people's life. And actually it was a gathering that I wasn't paid. I was part of the program and I was adding value. And I don't know what is next after this podcast.
Exactly.
So young people, as much as we're trying to gather a lot for us, ourselves, to earn, to sustain our family, it's a good thing. Work hard, look for that money. But again, mind about living a significant life, touching someone's life, adding value. Money is a reward after solving people's problems. So if you generally solve their problems,
Money will follow you.
money will follow you.
That's true. Money will follow you. Actually, I love it to say, even though we can always sacrifice to get money, to find how we can survive, like through that kind of maybe finding money, finding jobs like that. But be a vision driven, don't be man driven.
Yeah.
Because if you got vision, I know Chris will hear about this. So if you really have vision, money will follow you. So have a good times. This is where I belong.